Hello everyone, my name is Peter. Data annotation has always been a problem for AI engineers. Some companies choose to outsource, other companies choose to build in-house teams. Today I'm going to talk about the pros and cons for each option, and hopefully after watching this video, you will have a much better idea on which option fits your project better. After talking with many engineers in the AI space, I've come to the conclusion that there are 4 measurements you should think about when making this decision. These are: first, quality of work; second, expenditure; third, data security; and the fourth, scalability. In this video, I'm going to talk about and analyze each of the 4 measurements and give you some guidelines on how you should think about this problem. First, talking about quality of work, I'd like to further break down these measurements into 2 metrics. The first one is instruction communication, and the second one is quality assurance. First of all, instruction communication is very important because data labeling itself is helping to transfer subjective human understanding of the world to the computers. In that sense, the best human to perform the labeling task are engineers themselves. However, limited by their time capacity, the engineers have to rely on other people to label the data. Therefore, good communication between the engineers and the labelers is critical to an AI project. If you choose to use an in-house team, the instruction communication will be much easier than using an outsourced team, simply because the engineers could be easily communicating with the labeling teams through meeting sessions in office, whereas it will be much harder to do so with an outsourced team. This could be partially addressed by hosting a Slack channel, but it will never be as convenient. As for quality assurance, it is certainly more controllable to have your data labeled in the office, because you could apply management tools such as KPI to ensure high quality. So looking at this 2 metric, in-house team will more likely to deliver high quality work if you have enough budget. Now moving on to expenditure, there are 2 types of costs you should consider. The first one is the cost to build the labeling team, and second one is the cost to build the labeling tool. Here I have made a comparison chart of expenditures in each option based on the assumption that your company is based in San Francisco and you want to maintain a labeling team of 20 people. For the in-house option, here I'm assuming that your total cost per labor is $50,000 per year, includes salary and benefits. This should be a fairly conservative estimation, because I've seen companies like Tesla pay more than this figure to hire labelers in the United States. I'm also assuming 4 full-time engineers to build the labeling tool at a cost of $100,000 per year. This is a really lower-end estimation, as we all know that the average salary of engineers in San Francisco is much higher than this figure. Lastly, I'm assuming a management overheads of $200,000 per year. This will bring up the total cost to $1.6 million per year. However, you should notice that the cost of building the tool will not stay at the same level forever. Once the tool is finished, you will only need to maintain 1 to 2 engineers to maintain and update the tool. Looking over to outsourced team cost, I'm assuming around $8 per hour, which is the current market price. This will give you a total cost of $400,000 per year, with no further cost on engineers and management overheads. So by looking at the number, it is obviously more economical to use outsourced teams, and also notice that we haven't even considered the time we spent on building the team. The third thing you should think about is data security. Apparently, using in-house teams gives the best data security simply because it is much easier to implement in-house protocols than trusting other people. That said, if you really want to outsource your annotation project, you should certainly be signing NDAs with your vendor before providing the data to them. And if your company is based in Europe, you should also make sure that your vendor is GDPR compliant. If all of the above is not enough, let's say your compliance department is very demanding, your client is very demanding, you could also consider requiring your vendor to be ISO 27001 certified. Last but not least, scalability is also an important factor in this decision. Using an outsourced team will definitely give you a much better scalability simply because you don't have to worry about the recruitment, the KPI, the turnovers, and don't forget, if your data is not evenly distributed across the year, then outsource option will give you a much better flexibility. Now let's have a recap. When facing with the decision between in-house or outsource your annotation team, there are 4 measurements you should think about. These are quality of work, expenditure, data security, and scalability. To give you some suggestion, when making this decision, the first thing you should consider is data security. Because no matter how economically appealing the outsource option is, if you can't get around your compliance department with NDA, GDPR, compliance, ISO 27001, you will never be able to outsource. Now, if you manage to get around your compliance department, the second thing you should consider is expenditure. If your company is based in a place where it is very expensive to hire, such as San Francisco, based on my experience, you should certainly pursue the outsource option, simply because even large corporates like Microsoft, Google, and a large self-driving company like Cruise are using outsource options. Meanwhile, if the cost of your location is not that high, such as China, India, I've seen many companies in those areas using in-house options. Regarding quality of work, as we mentioned, the disadvantage here is the controllability and the communication efficiency. If you really want to outsource and still maintain quality, you could leverage softwares such as Slack, Google Doc, Jira to better collaborate with an outsourced team. There are many details in how you should do this. If you're interested, please leave your comments. I'll make another video about this. So that was everything you should know before making this decision. Thank you for watching my video. Please leave your comments below. I will try to answer them or make another video about it. You could also visit this website below to get more information on annotation industry. And most importantly, don't forget to share with your friends and subscribe to my channel.